Hey guys, this is Sonic93. I'm making another rant, but this time it's gonna be about one of the characters.
And this character is really popular with Sonic fans. It's Blaze the cat. And no, it's not what you think. We're not anti-Blaze or anything. We're just gonna mention about her fans.
And we're not saying every Blaze fans is like this or that. We're just talking about those we've seen and the crazy ones.
Right, because we know there are normal Blaze fans too.
Yeah, so those fans who are normal ones, we're not directly talking about you, and we really hope you won't take it seriously.
We're just talking about certain Blaze fans who worship her, act like she's a goddess, and stuff like that.
Which is unfortunately how the main Blaze fans are, you see, nowadays.
They're saying that she's perfect, she's the best character ever, she has no flaws, and many more things.
Yeah, Blaze gets this kind of treatment all the time, and I can officially call her a Mary Sue.
Not because of her character, but because of some of her fans.
Blaze is clearly a normal, flawful character, just like the others, but the fans treat her like she's not.
Even though that it's been shown that she does have flaws.
Blaze is unsocial, always wants to do her stuffs at her own.
Usually doesn't want any help from others, and is afraid of heights.
But the fans see aside that and say, she's perfect and flawless! Yeah, it's annoying, like, wherever you go, need a video of a picture of Blaze, comments I see are nothing but the typical ones.
By typical, we mean the ones that are like, she's so hot, she's perfect, she's the greatest character ever, or stuff like that.
And I know there are other characters who get this kind of treatment too, but it feels like Blaze overtops them all. The reason the fans say why they love her is that she's independent, different from other girls.
However, in the fan art, they don't really show that with her.
Yeah, like from what I've seen mostly of fan of Blaze, they make her act totally where she's not, mostly when paired up with other characters.
They make her girly, flirty, acting pretty much like Amy Rose or Rouge.
Or even Cream for that matter.
Sometimes they even make her look like she's helpless or weak.
And yet they say they love her because she's not like that.
So it doesn't really make sense to us.
What's more unlogical is how they make her character when paired up with characters like Silver, Shadow, or Sonic.
Blaze pretty much shows that she's someone who would rather do things alone, so I don't think she would be interested in having a boyfriend.
Here's one of the best examples of pictures of Blaze paired up with the hedgehogs.
Doesn't really seem like her character, right?
And funny thing is, Sylvain of all those three is the most popular pairing, and they even think they're canon, like, they draw for what they think they are for each other.
With Sylvain, they think it's canon just because of that one scene from '06, the ending to Silver's story. Since Blaze said that, they think that she had feelings for him. Just because two characters happen to be partners, it doesn't mean that they're gonna love each other.
Which is the reasons why the fans are making such a big deal for pairings, like, all this drama.
And this fanbase has a lot of drama when it comes to couples. They take them way too seriously.
Another thing that's bothering us with the Blaze fans are fan boys.
And they are everywhere.
I don't know which one is worse, the fans or the boys. Both of them are really exaggerating with their love for her. But the boys are just creepily perverted.
Not in a funny way either.
Yeah, Blaze is so overrated that back in that time I was a member of the Vine Art, I've had like 5 guy friends who loved her.
They all said she was hot too.
That's obvious, but like in the Vine Art you see lots, and I mean lots, of neither kinky, sexually related, or awkward pictures of Blaze.
And sure, you see that with any female character you can think of. We've just seen Blaze show up more there.
Yeah, it even feels like Blaze overtops anyone, and I mean anyone, like Jessica Rabbit, Felicia, Morgan, Shang-Li, Cammy, etc., etc.
You would think Rouge would have more attention since she actually has more of a body than Blaze does, but everybody doesn't seem to pay much attention to her.
Ironically, 2 fanboys deny that Blaze has more attention than Rouge.
Yeah, we don't really see that.
And unfortunately, she gets this treatment everywhere. YouTube, the Vine Art, you name it. And it's like, is Blaze more overrated than Shadow?
We both don't know for sure, but nowadays it seems like it.
Yeah, I doubt it. But the way it is today, she might be for temporary.
Well, this rant was pretty short, but I guess that's all we have to say for now. If any Blaze fans are watching this, please don't be offended. That's not what we want to do. Remember, we both like her too.
Yes, but otherwise that, we thank you guys for watching. Hey guys, this is Sonic93 speaking, back with another Sonic related rant. And as the title says, it's gonna be another Sonic couple rant. But this time, I'm gonna do a solo rant like Amy-chan did with her Yoshi Wii 1 rant from her channel. Now you might wonder why she won't join me on this topic. Well, the reason is that Amy-chan has told me herself that she doesn't have much to say about this topic since she doesn't really support any Sonic couples, which is understandable in this fanbase. So this topic is more suitable to me because I'm a Sonic shipper myself. Now the last Sonic couple rant I made was Nox Rouge, and if you have seen my list of what I was planning to rant about next, you know by now that the next Sonic couple rant I'd make would be Shadouge. With Nox Rouge, I was ranting about them for supporting the pairing while providing evidences and proof that they really are a canon couple. But with Shadouge, it's gonna be different for many reasons that I'm about to explain right now. This is something I really want to do for a very long time, because since we all know how the Sonic fanbase can go way too far with liking or hating things, Sonic couples is the most known for that, unfortunately. You're gonna most likely, as a Sonic fan, get bashed, insulted, and hated for it. And I don't think you guys will be surprised if I'm telling you that I've been bashed by Shadouge fanbrats and see them spreading lies about the pairing into thinking that they're canon. About Shadouge's pairing being canon part, I'll get to that later very soon. But first, I just want to make this clear to my opinion about the pairing and my general opinion about people supporting crack pairings but thinking they're canon like Shadouge or any other unlegit couples out there. The thought of Shadow and Rouge paired up together never crossed to my mind until I saw a few pictures of them at Google when I was younger. And for some weird reason, I was trying hard enough to see them as a legit couple that could work. But since I love Nox Rouge and all those hints I put in my rant of them being canon, I really can't see Shadouge happening. And I would've just easily shrugged it off and just move on from the thought of it. If it wasn't for the fanbrats I've seen at YouTube, oh my goodness, they were everywhere. And thanks to them, I hate this pairing with a passion. And when I'm saying that, I'm not saying every Shadouge fans are bad. Absolutely not. I know there's good ones too, but unfortunately, I haven't seen many of them as much as the fanbrats. I can give you examples of how Shadouge fanbrats can be based off on my own experiences. Now, note the things I'm gonna tell you guys happened long time ago, so it might be a huge chance that Shadouge fanbrats aren't like that anymore. It mostly happened on YouTube, but it's happened on DeviantArt as well. As I can remember what happened on YouTube, I've been bashed twice by Shadouge fans because I was supporting it and preferred Nox Rouge. I remember there was a random guy, literally a random guy, who used to want to comment at my profile and say this: "You hate Shadouge? You suck!" with 2 or more exclamation marks. I'm not joking. And if I remember correctly, I was just saying, let me like any pairings I want. Because, really? You gotta think someone sucks just because someone disagrees with your shippings without knowing me first? That sums up how even shallow the Sonic fanbase can be! And the other one, I don't remember in word of the conversation we had, but if my memories are not wrong, I think it all started on an anti-Nox Rouge and pro-Shadouge video, and I was commenting against Shadouge, and the guy was just responding to me, bashing me for not believing in Shadouge, and like Nox Rouge as I stated before. I think I also stated that Rouge doesn't love Shadow, or something like that, and then eventually, he gave me a note, and the title was, "Rouge does love Shadow, you idiot," or something. Seriously? Even if I was younger and had doubts about Nox Rouge, because I didn't know back then how bad and narrow-minded the Sonic fanbase really is, I somehow deeply knew that it still didn't make any sense of what he said to me. Sadly, since it was a long time ago, I either can't remember or find a print screen of our conversation, since we all know how much YouTube had changed over the years, and I highly doubt that we're going to be able to find our old messages in the past that easily anymore. On DeviantArt, the Shadouge fanbrats weren't as bad, but I still came onto them. One of the biggest fanbrats I've talked to was when I made a little rant about Shadouge and provided hints that proved the couple being uncanon. But the fanbot really had a tantrum about it, started with her comment by saying, "Dude, WTF?" Okay. Instead of being a mature person trying to have a nice conversation about someone having a different opinion with proof, is gonna act like a typical fanbot and thinks that her precious pairing is a legit couple. And that's not even the worst part. She started to make a long comment by explaining how the pairing is canon. Even if I can't show her comment since it was a long time ago and that was before I deactivated my account, I think you can figure out yourself that she wasn't being so reasonable with her hints. I obviously responded back and proved her how the couple is not canon, and I think I also questioned her why they work together or something. All I can remember she said was this: "Rouge loves Shadow because she trusts him." Do you hear how stupid that sounds? You know, in this fanbase, I've heard so many lame excuses for a crack baron being canon by people saying things like, they're friends, they're standing next to each other, they're rivals, they're secretly in love, etc., etc. But, according to that fanbot's logic, if you trust someone who's the opposite gender, you're automatically in love with them! It seems like you can't do anything nowadays without people thinking it's love! You can't be friends with the opposite gender. You can't work with the opposite gender. You can't even be rivals with the same gender! That's how twisted people's minds really are when it comes to Sonic shippings! And it doesn't even have to be just the Sonic series. Other fan bases have the same issue, more or less. Personally, I don't really care or mind if people support crack pairings. Some pairings can even make sense for all I know. You want an example? Let's take people who support Shed Amy for an example. The couple isn't canon, I don't support it, but even I can say as an Amy fan that they make a lot more sense than Shadouge does for many reasons. Since Shadow has lost Maria, his closest friend he's ever had, he's kind of a loner, and I've seen people thinking they wouldn't be into a relationship. But if he had to be with someone, I think he'd be with someone close to her personality. And Rouge is definitely not close to that. I'd say that Amy, Tikal, and even Mina Mongoose is closer to Maria's personality than Rouge is. Not to mention that Amy did help Shadow to remember his promise to her before she died. Unfortunately, many people who support crap pairings don't support them for reasons like that. For some reasons, they're so over-obsessed with their OTPs that they do anything to make two fictional characters paired up together come true. You want to see one good example of how people can literally think that some crack pairings are actually canon? Let's take a look at a stamp I saw from DeviantArt. This stamp is basically supporting Tsunami, Shadouge, and Sylvace. That's fine, I don't see anything wrong with that, but what I see in this stamp and the artist's description is way off. Since the stamp is animated, I'm going to read in order of what it says. Look for the color, see fast the obvious, interpretate the situation, whatever that means, then you would know that Sega supports Shadouge. Ironically, that's the first thing the person put for as an obvious couple, Tsunami and Sylvace. Don't settle with just the black and white. And this is the artist's description. Support stamp towards Shadouge, Tsunami, Sylvace. Sega does accept them. If you can't see that, look for the color, not the black and white. I seriously don't like this stamp, even if you have Tsunami in there, because of how invalid, fan-bratty, and unlogical the message really is. I'll explain more of how I think Shadouge don't make any sense at all, except they're working together. And with Sylvace, the only typical reason I can think people believing it's canon is because of one cutscene of a game that erased the time itself and meant absolutely nothing. And with Tsunami, it is canon, but I wouldn't say it's obvious. I mean, the fact that Amy loves Sonic is obvious, but what about Sonic's feelings for Amy? I mean, come on, you really think that a guy who acts like he hates a girl and runs away from her all the time would be in love with her? I would have never believed he loved her if I didn't see that Disney magazine that says that Although Sonic is clearly interested in her, Sonic has been always too shy to declare his feelings. And the Sonic and his secret rings, where it says, "Meet Amy Rose, Sonic's ever-cheerful love interests." And recently, in the Sonic Boomcast reading, what they're explaining about each episode, it was confirmed that Sonic got jealous when he thought Amy was on a date. Also, the K-Zone magazine, on Sonic's character's profile, on the category Friends, it says, Sonic also has a love interest in a lady hedgehog named Amy Rose. I wouldn't say that Sonic makes it clear he loves Amy the same way she does to him otherwise. But my point is, if it weren't for those hints, among other small hints in the games and the Boomcast reading, I'd most likely still believe he hates her like I did before. With other words, the person stamp is making it sound like Sanemi is obviously canon, which I disagree with for the reasons I just stated. And what bothers me more is that the person didn't even bother explaining how all those three couples are canon and Sega supports them. But I have to admit it myself that out of all those three pairings, I'd say Sanemi is the only pairing that is more obvious than Shadouge and Sylvace. And I'm not saying this as a Sanemi fan, I'm just trying to see what couple is more legit. I can even say the Nax Rouge is more obviously canon than Sanemi. And another ironic thing is, the person disabled the comments. Sounds kind of fishy, doesn't it? My biggest guess is because of either a giant shipping war or the person being called out on the stamp's message and that attitude he or she had for it. Now let's talk about how Shadouge is really an unlegit couple. I'm gonna show you different cutscenes from different Sonic games, like I did with the Nax Rouge rant, where people have literally stated that it's Shadouge hints. I don't think I'm gonna do all of them since there's too many of them and I'd probably end up repeating myself. I'm just gonna show the main ones people are saying it's a hint. Starting with the very first game both Shadow and Rouge got introduced, which was Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. For those who have played the game, do you remember when Shadow, Rouge, and Dr. Eggman went to a prison island looking for a Chaos Emerald or something? Correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't played the game for a while. And Amy was looking for Sonic, and when she saw Shadow, she thought it was him and started to hug him. Now, according to some Shadouge fans, if you look closely at Rouge's face, you're gonna see that she got jealous because someone hugged him! Right now, I'm gonna show you the cutscene and let me know what you think about it from what I just said.
Oh, Sonic! I thought I'd never see you again. I'm so glad you made it. You're not Sonic. Who are you?
I'm the one who should be asking that.
Dr. Eggman.
I watched the cutscene myself and I see two errors on that hint. First off, if Rouge was really jealous of Amy hugging Shadow, how come we couldn't see her reaction when she did hug him? You could only see a reaction after she stopped hugging him, not during. Secondly, that face she made wasn't a jealous face. It was more of a shocking face to see someone she doesn't know out of nowhere. And also, Amy was starting to scream, so wouldn't you also make that kind of face if you saw someone you didn't know screaming out of nowhere? Okay. Here's another one from the same game. Rouge completed the mission and collected the Chaos Emeralds, but she got trapped and wasn't able to get out of there. Shadow was basically minding his own business until he got a flashback of Maria, and then he was thinking of Rouge. I bet he was having some kind of conscience and thought that'd be the right thing to save her, similar to what happened with Maria. But that's not what the Shadouge fanbots are thinking. Oh, no. They're thinking, since Rouge made Shadow think of Maria, they think it's automatically Shadouge because of that. Let's see if you agree about that.
This is Rouge. I've got a small problem. I can't believe that I'm trapped inside this locked safe with a Chaos Emerald. I guess I won't be able to call myself a treasure hunter anymore.
Not only am I doubting it's Shadouge because of what I said before, but how can Shadow be in love with someone when he calls a person A troublemaker? I don't see calling someone a troublemaker as a hint. It's more like a person is annoyed because of someone's mess he has to clean up. Which leads me to another cutscene people are stating it's a hint. Because of Shadow saving Rouge and him saying that he only did it because of the Chaos Emeralds, which is obviously the truth, people are thinking he's denying his love for her. Pay attention to the cutscene and tell me if that's what you see.
That was so unexpected, so unlike you, Shadow, to come and rescue me. But your ability to use the Chaos Control certainly comes in handy.
You know, I didn't come to save you. I came back for the Chaos Emeralds.
If people know Shadow enough, you know that he wouldn't do things like that for a girl. At least not for someone like Rouge. Especially if he makes it clear that he wants to complete a mission, not to risk his life for someone he just met. Now, this is the very last cutscene I'm gonna show you from this game. It happened after Shadow's death. When Sonic entered Eggman's base, Rouge was the one to ask where Shadow was. And of course, the Shadouge fanboys are jumping to conclusion, thinking that because she was the very first person to ask where he was, that means she loves him! And Sonic basically responded to her question by giving her his ring, to symbolize that it was basically gone. You know what I said in my next Rouge rant? That Rouge said, I got something better than jewels that I'm thinking about right now. Sounds like a hint for next Rouge? Well, that's the exact same hint people are using for Shadouge. Because she was holding his ring when she said that. Now let me demonstrate about the cutscene after I'm done showing it.
Where is Shadow?
So what's next for you, Rouge? Off again to find those jewels you love so much?
Nah, I think I'm gonna give up this line of work. Too much work for too little pay. Anyway, I've got something better than jewels that I'm thinking about right now. It'll all work out, you'll see.
About someone showing concern to another person, that's the kind of argument people are using for a couple they like, but they don't do that otherwise. For an example, from Sonic Lost World, Sonic was concerned about Tails when he got kidnapped by the Deadly Six by accident. But people aren't saying that's Nails because they don't support it. But if stuff like that happens to their favorite couple, it's a hit! It's canon! Oh my god, look at this, people! This couple is so going to happen! I'm so happy! Oh my god, I'm having happy tears right now! And about Rouge saying that she got something better than jewels she's thinking about right now, I'm basically having the same opinion about it as I said in the next Rouge rant. But to make it short, Rouge sounded more like she was talking about Knuckles, not about Shadow. Because really, she loves jewels more than anything, but she rejected them in front of him? That's kind of odd for her to do. Keep this in mind that she did give him the pieces of the Master Emerald back. So it wouldn't make any sense if she was just talking about Shadow because she was holding his ring and said that. The next game I'm going to analyze is Sonic Heroes. I don't have much to say about this one since, well, like I said before, I will probably end up repeating myself and I will just rage more than I have to. But if you want to see the hints people are using, you can just look it up yourself. It's not hard to find. But there's one hint that really bothers me to my stomach. I won't tell you what it is until you see it for yourself. If you still don't get it, I will tell you after letting you hearing this.
Myself, just who am I? Scan horizons, a tragic mystery. You could have left me here, still inside the thought. No one would ever know the chaos control. My true identity, the power that is me. The fight, electric lives, change surroundings, a jewel in history. A treasure disappears as she goes, miss her as you look away, and no one knows. This power is a key, this power changes me.
you still didn't get it? That was the Team Dark's theme for Sonic Heroes, and the team includes Shadow, Rouge, and Omega. Because of the lyric mentioning Rouge herself and the things that I put yellow marked on, it's Shadouge, people! Oh, I'm sorry. I thought the song was about teamwork, not about a hedgehog and a bat might be a couple. Forget about the lyrics mentioning Omega. As long as the lyrics were mentioning Rouge herself, they're an official couple. Seriously, I have absolutely no words for that. Let's just move on with another game. Next one is Sonic Battle. There's more hints that people are stating on that game that just ticks me off badly. It happened when Shadow got knocked out by a robot and Rouge had to carry him into her club. When she got there, she was complaining about how heavy he was and basically said that she wouldn't even carry jewelry that heavy. But before she could finish her sentence, she kind of hesitated and basically would rather carry heavy jewelry than Shadow. But the Shadouge fanbase are twisting what she said and thought she was comparing Shadow to jewelry and made it sound like she'd prefer him over them. Let me just show you that cutscene. Doesn't that sound like the fans are kind of looking too deeply into it? And not to mention that they don't pay deeply attention to what Rouge said. She didn't compare jewelry to Shadow and said she preferred him over them. Quite the opposite. She said that she would never do something like that again. She was about to say the same thing about jewels, but hesitated because, well, we all know that she would do anything for jewels despite how heavy it be. Unlike falling for a guy because he's good looking. Speaking of that, I'll get to the hint right now, actually. Before Rouge was about to leave, she was checking out on him to see if he was okay. She said that he's not bad looking, but... And people think that Rouge was complimenting his looks. To me, I thought at first she was doing that too, but I don't count that as a hint because Rouge is the kind of person who flirts with anybody. But looking at that scene a few times and analyze what was happening before, it seems more like that Rouge meant that Shadow didn't look too bad, like basically didn't look like she was that much hurt. But either way, it's not a hint if she's known to do that because that's the way she is. Another one is when Shadow started to dream while he was still unconscious. Since I haven't played the game, I'm not really sure what's going on, but judging by the cutscene, it seems like Shadow was getting flashbacks about the events of Adventure 2 battle and some information about the robot Emerald. And then before he woke up, he was dreaming about Rouge. Can you guess of how people think that's a Shadouge hint? Because she showed up in his dream! Shadouge fan brats, Rouge was used the only one showing up in his dream. What about did he mention Maria in there? What about that Sonic, Tails, and even Emma were there too? Why aren't you counting that as a hint? Oh wait, I forgot. You don't care about that because that's not your main focus. Your main focus is the darkest and sexiest couple ever is gonna be official. By the way, all Shadow was doing when she showed up was just calling her an ally. An ally, not a lover. Maybe he became nicer to her by calling her that than a troublemaker. But again, that doesn't really sound like a hint if you call someone just an ally and nothing else. And right after Shadow woke up, Rouge called him a prince. I don't think I need to explain how they count that as a hint. But I'm still gonna show it to you and let you see it for yourself.
Hi, Sugar.
Say the same thing as I said about Shadow. If people knew Rouge well enough, they'd know that she's the kind of person who flirts with anybody, and I mean anybody. She even asked Sonic if she could get a kiss from him. So, how is Rouge calling Shadow a prince a hint exactly? Again, why aren't you counting that she has flirted with other guys as a hint? In the same game, she has even flirted with Sonic. I'm gonna show you that clip right now to prove that Rouge is not only like this to Shadow, but with other guys as well.
Hi, Sugar.
And then on Sonic Colors in the DS version, if you get an S rank on Rouge mission, she's gonna ask Sonic for a kiss. And lastly from Sonic X, she has kissed Tails on the cheek just to win the battle between them. I don't hear anyone saying that Sunouche or Telouche, now do I? Because either you don't care about it or you know that doesn't mean anything. So why can't you say the same thing about Shadouge? What makes them so special? Because you think they're a better match? Thinking they look together is one thing, but making up points just because you want them to happen is another. The last game I'm gonna analyze now is almost everybody's least favorite Sonic game by now. Sonic 06. Yes, even that game they state their Shadouge hints. I'm gonna just talk about 3 hints that I think are just beyond stupid. It starts at the very beginning of Shadow's story. Eggman won the Scepter of Darkness that Rouge was holding, and when she tried to fly away, she got knocked out by him and started to fall. Since Shadow wasn't cold enough not to save her, it's a hint for Shadouge! Remember when I only put one hint that people are saying it's Shadouge from Sonic Heroes? Well, apparently, another hint they were stating in that game is the exact same one! At the very beginning of Team Dark's story, when Shadow saves Rouge, it means he was risking his life to save her, not because that would make him look like a cold person if he didn't, but because he loves her! You see, people, you have to not do those kind of things to prove that you're not in love with someone. What kind of logic is that anyway? Now on to the next hint. I never thought someone would say things like that and think it means something. I hope when you see the cutscene yourself, you're gonna burst out of laughter for what people are thinking of this scene.
Ah, my precious Chaos Emerald. You are also beautiful. Your mysterious brilliance.
Can you take a one good guess of what people are saying about this scene? They say that because Rouge said mysterious brilliance, which she was obviously talking about the Chaos Emerald, and the camera shows Shadow right after that. That's a hit! Okay, Shadouge fanbrats, have you forgotten for a second ago that she was talking about the Chaos Emerald she was holding? Now, why would a camera's angle count as a hint when she was clearly talking and focusing about something else? That's just absurd right there. I've never heard any other fanbrats of a couple stating that as a hint. That's actually the very first time I've heard stupider things like that than saving someone because of love. Now, this is the very last and one of the worst Shadouge hints I've ever heard of all time. That is the hint that people are so absolutely sure that Shadouge is canon. That very famous scene where Rouge said, "I'll always remain by your side." I will show you the whole cutscene so you can see what's going on and why she said that.
This only proves you were created to stop Shadow, the ultimate life form. Don't tell me you didn't know. You may have been programmed by humanity, but what you did to Shadow in the future, that was your...
What just happened?
Shadow. The one that defeats and seals you in the future is me.
It's so unfair. Shadow's always here to defend the world. Despite that...
Eventually, when something or someone is seen as too powerful, it is seen as a threat. And then the world becomes its enemy.
Shadow? Even if you believe everyone in the world will be against you, know that I'll always remain by your side. Remember that.
I will.
Give me an honest opinion, people. What did it sound like? Did it sound like Rouge said that to be supported or what Omega told them? Or she just said that out of love, but for some reason, since people are believing it's Shadouge, and then Shadow said, "I will" to that, wouldn't they be a couple by now? I mean, people people believe that Rouge admitted her love for him, and I bet they're also thinking that when he said, "I will," he accepts her love or something. But wouldn't that mean in that logic they become a couple? But they aren't? I'm serious. People are non-stop talking about the scene and refuse to let it go. So to summarize this video, I don't understand why to this day Shadouge fans believe that the couple is legit. There is no accurate proof. All of them are just made up out of their own wishes and desires. And the worst part about this whole thing, they believe in their own hints and lies when they're actual accurate proof of Knuckles and Rouge, which is more obvious than Tsunami, like I said. They're gonna either say that she used to love him, doesn't love him because she's being mean to him all the time, or worse, she loves both. That's a nice way to judge a character. You know, I've seen people hating Rouge and called her many bad names because of that. But you still want to believe she does and don't go with the obvious proof and hints in the games that she only likes Knuckles? Search yourself. No one's gonna stop you from having that opinion, but you need to understand that that is hypocritical. It's like the Shadouge fanbrats are playing a whole different game because of their point of views with Shadouge. Most of them are not paying attention to the storyline and the character's personality and just automatically believe they're one of the most accurate couples out there just because they're working together and they support each other. You know, when I was a kid, I thought in the very beginning that Sonic hated Amy, but I still love them as a couple. So why can't Shadouge fanbrats do the same thing and understand and accept that they're not an accurate couple? Just because something's not canon or official, it doesn't mean you can't support it. It's basically your taste of pairings and opinions. I am not saying this to sound like an Rouge fanbrat. I'm just basically saying that you can support a couple that isn't canon, but believing it is and setting up lies and hints just because you want them to happen is not okay. Okay, you guys, this is it for this rant. I hope you didn't mind me ranting solo this time due to the reason I said in the beginning, and I hope you really enjoyed it since, well, I am kind of nervous doing this all alone, and maybe it didn't come out so well as it does with Amy-chan. I don't know, I'll let you guys be the judge for that. Also, remember, this rant is not against the Shadouge fans, only the Shadouge fanbrats. If you're a smart Shadouge fan who's watching this, I hope you didn't feel offended. I'm not saying that you can't support a pairing. You can do that if you want, but I just don't like it when people are shipping a crack pairing and believe it's canon. Anyways, I thank you guys for watching this. I really hope you like or liked it. See you guys next time on the next video. Bye bye!